Is the 40 caliber dead? Not really. It's you know, it's not dead. There's hardly any cartridges out there that are actually dead. 450 Marlin is actually still alive, so dead is a strong word. But the 40 isn't popular anymore. And actually, I kind of think it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a shame because I actually really like the 40 a lot. But on the other hand, it's good because I can find used 40s for cheap. But I thought I'd go through my 40 collection today and just show you what all I've got. First off, why do I like the 40 still in this era of 10 millimeter dominance? Well, the 40 is very standardized right now. It's been out long enough that, you know, you can buy a 180 grain load from Hornady or Winchester or Remington or whatever, and they're all going to be going about the same speed. They're all going to be about the same power level, which is right just under 1,000 feet per second. You do 165 grain, they're all going to be the same across the board. But with a 10 millimeter, man, there's so much stuff out there that is just varying degrees of power. You can get stuff that says 10 millimeter on the box, but it's not going, sometimes not even 100 feet per second faster than a similar 40 load from the same manufacturer. Then, on the other hand, you've got Underwood Ammo and Double Tap and Buffalo Bore out there making crazy hot stuff for the 10 millimeter. And that's cool if we were talking about revolvers, but unfortunately we're talking about automatics. And in an automatic, your mainspring up here is very important to the function of your gun, and most of the time these springs are set to a certain power level. And in something like a 9 or a 40, where it really doesn't matter what you buy, they're all going to be about the same power-wise. 45 ACP is the same way. Cartridges like that, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't matter what you buy because it's all going to be the same. Therefore, it's all going to function in your gun, and you're not going to have to worry about it. But with a 10, you know, some of these guns that are coming out are sprung for the lighter 40 Smith & Wesson era or level of load. Some of them are sprung for the really heavy stuff. And depending on what you buy, your gun may or may not run just anything off the shelf, like is the case with a 40 or a 9 or a 45. So that's kind of why I don't like 10 right now. I don't hate 10. I actually really like what it can do. I like that there's so many new cool guns coming out in it. I had a Ruger Red Hawk, or Ruger Super Red Hawk in 10 millimeter. And that was a really cool gun. It had some issues though, so I had to send it back to Ruger. But they gave me a whole new gun. They were really cool about it. But they had to give me a 44 mag. They couldn't give me another 10 millimeter Super Red Hawk. So that kind of sucked. But whatever. You know, I'm not against the 10 millimeter. I really like it a lot, and I want to try it. But the thing is, as I said, it's hard to find any of these new guns that are just dead nuts reliable like the 9 millimeters are, and the 40s are, and the 45s. You know, you can get a Glock 21, and it's, you know, right out of the box, you're probably not even going to have to worry about it ever. It's going to be fine. Or an XD45, or an XD9, or an M&P 9, or an M&P 40. It doesn't really matter. Coming right out of the box, that gun's probably going to be just absolutely fine. You can't say that about the new M&P 10s, or the SIG X10, or the XDM 10, or the FN 510. All of those guns have experienced problems trying to shoot everything. Like I said, some of them are sprung light, some are sprung heavy. They all have problems trying to shoot everything. The only gun out of that group that I have seen that just shoots anything and everything, and it doesn't matter, is the Glock 20 Gen 4. The Gen 5s are having problems. Gen 4 is the only one I know that can shoot double tap 230 grain. You know, I think Chooks Outdoors, Chooks Outdoors, I think, or Long Winding Road, one of those guys. did a test where they shot the 230 grain double tap load out of all these guns. The only one to shoot it just fine was the Glock 20 Gen 4. The rest of them had problems. So that's why I'm kind of on 10. I like it, but I don't really care to start collecting any of these guns until they start working these problems out. Because 10 only just recently started coming back. It's been out forever. Came out before the 40. But it only just now really got popular just a few years ago. And I feel like they need to work out some of these problems. So anyway, let's get to my collection, because I still like 40. Because again, 40, another thing I like about 40, not only is it a known quantity as far as reliability, all these guns are pretty much going to be reliable. Ammo, any self-defense load in 40 is probably going to be fine. You're going to be hard pressed to find bad 40 Smith & Wesson ammo that you wouldn't want to carry. 9 can be great. I don't hate the 9 either, but with the 9 you do kind of have to go watch some reviews or something, because some of these 9mm loads, they either expand way too fast or they don't expand at all. Most of the time what I see is they expand way too fast and don't penetrate enough, kind of like the Winchester Silver Tips. But anyway, you do kind of have to do a little bit of research with a 9 to pick your self-defense ammo. With a 40, I don't think you do. Almost all ammo that I see for 40 will work just fine. And people talk about capacity. Well, you know, the 40 is kind of a half glass, half empty or half full kind of a situation. People like to say, well, you got less capacity with a 40. Not really. I mean, yes and no. You're right. You have less capacity than a 9. You have a lot more capacity than a 45, though. So it's kind of in the middle. But anyway, here's my guns. This is the latest one I got. This is a Smith & Wesson Shield. Actually, it's hard to tell by the length of that barrel, but when you look at the grip. This is a Performance Center gun. I think this barrel is 4-inch. I believe it's just a 4-inch barrel. It's got fiber optic sights. I got this used, and this is what I was saying about it's almost a good thing that everybody hates 40 right now. I got this thing for like $3.99 or something like that, right at $400. Nice gun, and it's a Performance Center, and this is an M&P 2.0, so this isn't, I think this was sold at Academy a lot, but I can tell you it carries pretty good because it's thin, and it's got a great trigger on it. I'm going to compare it to my other one. This is the gun that got me into 40. Years and years, it was probably 2013 that I got this, probably 10-year-old gun at this point. It's my M&P 1.0 in 40 Smith & Wesson. Now this is a full size, and you compare it to the Shield, you can see that the Shield is a lot thinner. But with this being the 4-inch model Shield, you can see that the barrels are almost the same, just almost. I think this is 4.2 or 4 1/4, and this is just 4. So really, they're pretty similar sized guns. It's just the Shield is a lot thinner overall, and of course the grip itself is a lot shorter. And with that Shield, came with 2 mags, and one is like a flush fit. So you got a flush fit there. So this is essentially like half the width, or close to half the width of a double stack M&P gun, full size, and you still get 6 rounds in the mag plus 1 in the chamber with a flush fit. You also get a 7-round mag with this, which makes it, if you do the 7-round mag, you really are getting pretty close to full-size M&P size. It's just thinner. And at that point, honestly, I don't know if I wouldn't rather just carry the full-size M&P, because you got like a lot more capacity. This, with that long mag, like I said, you got 7 plus 1 in the mag, so you got 8. This is 15 in the mag, 1 in the chamber, so you got 8 or 16. You literally have double the capacity with this. And as you can see, again, not that big a difference in size. Oop, I'm trying to... Not a whole lot of difference in size, but twice the capacity with this one. So some of these, I'm happy to see that the single stack craze is kind of going away, or they're doing this thing now where they're like got a 1.5 stack with like 365 and stuff, and it's really crazy because I'm seeing stuff that's like Glock 19 levels of capacity on a gun that's the size of almost just a regular, well, I guess the Shield Plus. And I'm glad to see that happening, because some of these older Shield size guns, really, it wasn't worth it to have that single stack capacity when the gun otherwise isn't much of a different size than full size. Anyway, I digress. That Shield is a great shooting gun. Shoots really well, and I carry it quite a bit. But anyway, again, back to this full size. This is the older M&P 1. I got this at Academy in like 2013. And this gun here has been all over America with me, because I do a lot of traveling, or I did for a few years. Traveled all over, Anniston, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, go to Austin, Texas, where else? Moline, Illinois, all kinds of places I'd go with this gun. And this gun always went with me, whether it's a motorcycle trip, business trip, whatever. This thing went with me because, honestly, like I said, it's 16 rounds of 40 in a gun that, you know, I can carry pretty well, and it's reliable. You really can't beat it. This is a gun I picked up at Gander Mountain before they closed for like $2.99. This is a Smith & Wesson 40-06. This is such a super cool gun, and I could not believe they were just getting rid of this thing for like I said, like $300. It's absolutely ridiculous. I looked up the serial number on this thing. It was made in 1990. All steel construction. Super cool gun. It's double action, single action, which some of the old timers kind of like that better. I don't really have much of a preference. I think it's fine. I think it's neat, but it's not like, I don't just prefer it or anything, but I don't mind it either. It's got a decocker over here, and it's got ambidextrous safety and decocker. It's got a mag safety, so without the mag in it, which it's not right now, trigger's disabled without that. This is a really good shooting gun because it's so heavy. The drawbacks to this gun are that the capacity is a little low. I think the mag holds 11, which is not a lot. So you got like 11 plus 1, something like that. And then the weight. This is a chunk of a gun. The pros to that, the upside to that, is that this thing shoots like a Cadillac. It's very easy to shoot. And it's reliable. It's all steel. It's going to last forever. This gun is bomb-proof. Can't believe they were selling this for $2.99. People are out of their minds with this. This whole caliber war shit, when people just start shitting on a caliber of some kind, they just don't want it anymore. So now all of a sudden, a really nice gun like this is just thrown away. That's ridiculous. I mean, it works to my benefit because I got it for so cheap, but still at the same time, I mean, give me a break, y'all. This is a super nice gun. Y'all just going to give it away for $2.99? Whatever. Anyway, wonderful gun. And then my last one is one of my favorites. This is another double action, single action only, or double action, single action gun. This is Beretta PX4 Storm M40, full size. This is a really cool gun. I really like this gun a lot. It's made in Italy. I don't know when this was made. I'm guessing in the 2000s or so. This gun is interesting because it has a rotating bolt design. If you look right there, you can see that the barrel and the chamber has a funny look to it. That's because, if I can see how it rotated, the barrel does not tilt when the slide comes back like a normal delayed, was it a delayed, whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. Unlike normal striker firing pistols, they have a delayed breech something, I don't know what, but the barrel tilts down to aid in loading of the next round. This doesn't have that. The barrel stays flat and it just rotates. One downside to this gun is that the capacity, I think this mag holds 14, whereas my M&P holds 15. So a little less capacity in this one, but this is a very easy shooting gun, very good shooting gun. And these are also known to last a fucking lifetime. There's guns out there like this that have just thousands and thousands of rounds put through them without any problems. Go to TFB TV on YouTube to they did a whole special, a couple couple videos on this, talking about how good these are and how reliable they are. They're wonderful guns. So it's kind of funny that I like 40, but it's not once I started researching some of these guns. Because if you're going to shoot a 40, most people are like, okay, I want a 40. I'm just going to get a Glock. What is it, 23 or 22? I think that's the 2 Glock. It's the full size and the compact. Not sure. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to get a Glock in 40 caliber. And then they get it, and they realize that, they get online and they find out that these things wear out. They kaboom. They do all this weird shit. And they're like, oh, God, well, I shouldn't have got a 40. No, you just shouldn't have gotten that 40. I wouldn't get a Glock 40 caliber. I would get a Gen 5 Glock 22, because for Gen 5, if you look, Glock actually made the slides a lot heavier on those guns, and I think they finally have made those guns a little heavier duty enough to hold up to a 40, because most of the time, some of these new duty guns that are made, the platform itself was designed around the 9mm, and then they just put a different barrel in it so that it can shoot 40. That's what Glock did. That's what some of these others have done too. I'm not real sure which ones, but I know for a fact Glock did that. Glock started with a 9, and then they just, swapped the barrel out and changed a few things from there, but it was designed around the 9. This gun right here, the Beretta PX4 Storm, was designed around the 40, and then chambered down to the 9. So this gun was made to shoot this cartridge, and therefore it is so much easier to shoot. You're not going to tear this thing up. It's going to be reliable. It's going to last a lifetime. This is a wonderful gun to get in 40 caliber. And the same goes for all my other 40s. The M&P line was designed around the 40. It was designed to shoot 40 first. Then they put a different barrel in it to shoot 9. This was the opposite of what Glock did. These guns can shoot 40 all lifetime long. They're not going to wear out. They're not going to have problems. The chambers are fully supported also. And I think they are on the Beretta too. But on these, I know they are. They're fully supported chambers, so you're not going to have a problem with these. You can shoot 40 out of this with confidence. You ain't got to worry about kabooms. You don't have to worry about it tearing up parts, whatever. And James Yeager used to irritate the shit out of me talking about how 40 was just so high pressure. The guns just can't hold it. They just can't hold up to this high pressure. 40 has the exact same chamber pressure that 9 does. Matter of fact, I think 9 might have 1 more foot-pound per square inch of pressure than 40. But other than that, they're essentially the exact same gun, or the exact same pressure. So it's not the pressure that's tearing guns up. But you are shooting a bigger bullet. You're putting out more foot-pounds of energy. It's a more powerful cartridge. So some of these guns, yeah, 40 might chew them up sooner than later, just because it's a more powerful cartridge. Of course it is. It's going to happen. That's how it's going to be. But it is not a question of pressure. It is not an issue of semi-pressure. This gun was designed around the 40. I might have even been designed around the 10mm. I don't know. I want to say it might have even been designed for the 10, then stepped down to the 40 and the 9 and the 45. But this isn't going anywhere either. This thing is already 33 years old? Yeah, 33 years old. Holy shit. Looks brand new just about, except for some holster wear right there. Wonderful gun. This isn't going anywhere. This thing is absolutely bomb-proof. And then the Shield 40. This is an M&P. I don't exactly know about the development of these guns. This is an interesting gun, and this is one, part of me wants to sell it just because the longer barrel is kind of nice, but as you saw, it also kind of makes this almost like carrying just a full-size M&P. And if you're going to carry a full-size M&P, you may as well just carry a full-size M&P. But I don't know, at the same time, I mean, it is kind of not, this is the part that normally prints, and to have this shorter, I guess, does make it easier to carry. And it is thinner and lighter and all that. But I don't know, at the same time, wouldn't you rather just have a full-size M&P with your full load of 16 rounds of 40? I don't know, but it was cheap, and this is a nice gun. Performance Center. So, yeah, these are my 40s. The 40 is not dead, and nor should it be. It never should be. The 40 is a great cartridge, and there's a lot of people out there that are starting to speak up about how don't just throw away the 40. It worked. That's the biggest thing about the 40. It fucking worked. The 10 is great, but the 10 half the time doesn't want to work. Go watch some of these guys talking about carrying 10s in Alaska. Just about the only thing they want to carry is a 10, but they want to carry it in a Glock 20 Gen 4 because that's what they know works. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the only one of the 10 millimeters out there that I would really trust. Maybe a Gen 3, I'm not sure about those. They're old at this point. Nobody talks about them. But the Gen 4s for sure I know are reliable. But that's it. All these others that have come out over the last year, I'm ecstatic that they came out, but they're not reliable. The fucking Ruger 1911 in 10 that came out, you don't hardly see anything about those anymore. You know why? Because go look online. They were breaking their, they were shearing off the barrel lugs on those things. And again, it goes back to some of these guns are only meant to shoot the light 10 millimeter. Some of them aren't made to shoot the full power 10 load. And honestly, I'll tell you another thing that irritates me about the 10. The gold standard for 10 millimeter is supposed to be a 200 grain bullet going 1,200 feet per second, right? Right? I never see that. I never see that. I don't even see it from Buffalo Bore and Underwood and other people, all these hot shit boutique ammo manufacturers. I really don't even see it from them. You'd have to have like my Super Red Hawk or a Smith & Wesson Model 610 with a 6.5 inch barrel or something like that to get that 200 at 1,200 standard. I never see it out of the automatics, and I certainly never see it out of 90% of the ammo manufacturers out there. That's another problem I have with the 10. I like the 10. I want to like the 10. Part of me has even thought before, hey, you got all these 40s, just trade them in and just get, you know, one or two good 10s, you know, maybe get a Glock 20 Gen 4 and then maybe get a 29 to go with it for carry, and you know, you're covered. You can literally do anything you want with that. And then maybe even you know, trade all of these. You might even be able to throw in a Glock. What's that one? Is it 41? This the competition, the long barrel competition. You could hunt with that. You know, you could even trade in one of your revolvers to get it. But then I'm like, I don't know. Again, the 40 is a known quantity. It's been out there for so long. There's so much research on it. There's so much data out there. There's so much knowledge that goes with the 40. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of it. I'm sticking with the 40 till I'm riding this shit down into the ground. If it's going down, I'm going down with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this cartridge, and there's nothing wrong with these guns. But I will say, if you're looking to get a 40, I wouldn't get a Glock 40 caliber, and that's not me hating Glocks. I like Glocks a lot. I've got a 19X. It's one of my favorite guns. I actually really like Glocks a lot. I had a Glock 21 for a hot minute. I loved it. Yes. I had a Glock 21 for a hot minute. I loved it. It was a Gen 3 short frame. Loved it. I like Glocks a lot. I just wouldn't get a Glock M40 caliber. You might look into the Gen 5s though, because like I said, they have a heavier slide now. They probably have fixed a lot of their durability issues. I still don't know that they have fixed their chamber support issues. I want to say all of these have full chamber support for the 40 caliber, which I think that's what you want. That's what you want. Why not? If it's your money and you're going to buy a gun, you got all these guns to choose from, why not pick the ones that have the most peace of mind with them? The ones that are built heavier, the ones that are built for 40, the ones that are built with a full chamber support. Glock just doesn't have that. I'm sorry. I like Glocks, but they just don't have that. Glock has never been a friend of the 40 caliber. They act like they are. People think they are. They're not. They're not. They're really not. Anyway, we'll see y'all later. If you tell me what you think of the 40 down in the comments below. Has the 10 made it obsolete, or is it the old workhorse, you know, that's the known quantity?